Regent Sound Studios. I started Regent Sound Studios. It was a 4-track studio. Tape studio, of course, tape on a 4-track Studer. We had a 4-track Studer machine, and we used to remix down to a small Revox 2-track. And what was interesting with the 4-track studio, what can you do with a 4-track studio? It's not very much 4 tracks, but 4 tracks can become very, very interesting, because if you record on 3 tracks and mix everything down onto 1 track, you still got 3 tracks left. Sounds technically, you have to think about it, but that's how it works. We recorded on 3 tracks, the drums, the bass and the rhythm guitar, mixed it all down already and put what we got onto 1 track. So only 1 track was used. Then the other 3 track we wiped off, and we used the other 3 tracks to carry on putting the vocals, the lead guitar, etc. So with a 4-track machine, you could use as if you got 8 tracks or more. But the only problem is technically, when you mix down like that from 3 tracks to 1, you mix obviously the sound down, that's okay, but you mix also le souffle, which in those days was quite a lot of souffle. And each time you put souffle...
Well, the background noise in it.
Yeah, the noise, the hiss.
The hiss, yeah.
The more hiss you put onto the tape, and the more you put hiss on top of hiss on top of hiss, you've got lots of hiss at the end. So you have to be careful. And it means playing with the EQ to try and pull it out and get your signals through.
So did you EQ stuff a lot?
Oh, we used to EQ lots of stuff in the old days, yeah. And for the sound effects, like the reverb, in Regent Sound Studios, the reverb wasn't what you can imagine. A little box where you turn a button and you get reverb, big room, hall, sound, and stuff like that. The reverb is in the cave underneath, because we used to have a speaker.
Okay, yeah, got you.
In the cave underneath, and we used to pull away a microphone on a run, 5 meters away, 10 meters away, 15 meters away in the cave, which used to go onto the road. And you got the sound coming out the speaker, which was delayed obviously till you got to the microphone and back into the system again. So we used to run down, turn the handle and bring the microphone back, you know. It was all mechanical. And but the sound was excellent, you know. The sound was excellent. And we got some really nice sounds out of that. So
is this all in mono?
No, we could mix in stereo. We could mix in stereo, but the recordings are in mono, obviously. All the recordings are in mono. But when you mix, you can move your different tracks to wherever you want them, left or right or in the centre. Because when you got a pan switch on your mixing console, you can move it where you want to, you see. Each track either to the middle or to the left. And usually what we used to do was record a guitar, a rhythm guitar, for example, and stick it to the left. And on another track, record again a rhythm guitar and stick it to the right. And they were slightly out of phase. But the slightly out of phase was interesting because that's where you got a quality. It's like using tube amplifiers or transistor amplifiers. The secret's in the tube amplifiers, because as soon as a tube distorts, which of course a transistor can't do, it can't distort. It can overload, but it can't distort. A tube distorts and even changes colour, a valve. It becomes purple and it's a lovely colour when it distorts. And we used to have 6V6s or EL84s and stuff like that in the old days. And when they changed colour, and even the 807 was a beautiful tube for the sound, and it used to become purple. And when it was purple, that means it was distorting. The mu, which is the gain of the tube, used to increase, but it used to increase with a natural distortion, and the sound is just marvellous. You know, but you don't get these sounds now because we're all in numeric.
So you're actually saying that you were
We used to mix with distortion.
Distortion, but
Yeah.
you were looking.
Oh, we
You
used to
could.
have that.
You were looking at the valves
Yeah.
and seeing them change colour.
Oh,
or
you
whatever.
could see them change colour in the amplifier, yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the more you pushed it, the more it changed the colour, you see. It used to suffer. But it was natural for the valve to do that. It's this natural situation. If the gain's too high, it just distorts, you see. But it's a natural distortion. It's not a distortion. It's not a physical distortion where it's ugly. It's a natural one, which is very pretty. It's like when you play on a Vox AC30, you've got this same distortion on the EL84s, EL34s, whatever the inside, and the preamplifiers, ECC83s or something, which you've got on the preamplifier, which is important, very important, the preamplification, because that gives you the natural sound and gives you the power, which is going to slightly distort the input to the PA out, which is the EL84s or whatever, you see, and that gives you the gain, and the gain is the mu, mu, it's a special sign, Greek, I think it's Greek originally, this sign, mu, it's like a U backwards, and well, of course the colours change, you see, and it's the same in amateur radio, you know, when you got RF, which is radio frequency, and not HF, high frequency, radio frequency, you've got the change of colours in tubes too. When you've got big PA systems for the radio signal, you have amplifiers, you see, which give out 1,000 watts or more of RF, not HF. RF is different. It's not audible. It's an electromagnetic power, you see, which goes off. It's the waves, you see, which is split onto different frequencies. And when you got the tubes used to change colour in the PA amplifiers for either when you're tuning up the rig, because you have to tune up the rig to get the maximum power out. To get the maximum power out is the maximum colour in the PA tubes. It used to do that like that, you see, because you had no equipment to do it, you know, really. So it was just working on the colour. And then the colour became important in sound and in music. We used to talk about colour. People don't talk about colour anymore. In today, nobody talks about the colour of the music. But it's a shame, because that's what it's all about. It's about the natural colour of the music, you know. If you look at the colours and you understand the colours, then you can really feel the music. I think it's important, the colours. And we used to talk about colours. I remember people used to come into the studio session and say, well, the colour doesn't sound right, Phil. And I knew exactly what they were talking about, because the colour wasn't right. But talking to somebody about the colour of the sound doesn't sound logical, because it's like me when I went through my career. I changed from analogical to numerical.
Yeah, digital, yeah.
Yeah, digital. The stuff became digital. That means I didn't mix by listening with a pair of headphones on or without. The live band I used to mix before, like that, between a 40 channel mixing table and the band played, I used to mix like that with my ears. Then all of a sudden, I had a small little computer, and I didn't mix by listening. I used to mix by looking at the sinusoids, what was happening musically. It became visual, the sound, with the digital stuff. It all became visual, whereas before you couldn't see it unless you stuck an oscilloscope in the circuit, but it didn't serve much. And we used to mix with the ears. I used to mix with hearing, need a bit more IQ there, need a bit more high frequency. The snare drum doesn't sound nice. The hi-hat doesn't sound at all. We can't hear the hi-hat. That's the SM sound can't be. It's not working properly. I have to move them slightly nearer, and all that stuff,